International Workers' Day, often referred to as May Day, is an annual celebration of the resilience of labor force which play a vital role in productivity of any nation. The International Workers' Congress held in Paris in 1889 established the Second International for Labor, Socialist and Marxist parties international demonstration in support of working class demands for the 8-hour day. 8-hour day. The date was chosen by the American Federation of Labor. The date was chosen by the American Federation of Labor to commemorate a general strike in the United States, which had begun on 1st May. Theme is reclaiming the civic space in the midst of economic hardships. Nigerian workers joined their counterparts globally to make the day across the country, demanding policies that address freedom of association, expression, and improve living conditions. President Bola Tinubu in his the growth of the nation. But how hopeful are the Nigerian workers? And how has the labor and government relationship impacted in providing that atmosphere for a better life? These are some of the issues we'll be discussing on Nigeria Today. Thanks for joining us I'm Mikaria Clinton. Joining me in the studio for this conversation is the Chairman, Political Commission of the Nigerian Labour Congress, Professor Theophilus Ndubuako. Nigerian Nurses and Midwives, FCT Council, JAMA, Medan. It's good to have you in Nigeria today.
Thank you for having me.
So I will start with you, Prof. You know, the president, of course, as represented by the minister, promised, you know, to prioritize transparency, equity, social dialogue, of course, create an environment where every worker will feel safe and secure to contribute to the growth of the nation. Now, how does this resonate with the mood of the Nigerian worker today?
Well, I must say that. You know, when you are talking about May Day, development, economic empowerment. When people are jobless, there is no way they would not want to survive, and they can resort to crime. And then, if you look at the situation in this country now, more than 100 million people, more than 50% of Nigerians are living below poverty line, the poverty line of $2.5. You will now wonder, if half of the people are living below poverty line, you will see that, you know, you can now explain why we have this level of insecurity and it's increasing. So I think that the government should be, like the president said, the president of the federation said, that they need to, you know, there's need for social dialogue, there's need for equity. You know, I was a member of the minimum wage committee, and we negotiated 70,000. Now, when they came for cost, add 40% across board for people who are earning, 200, 300,000. So instead of those people expecting more than 50% addition to their salary, in line with the negotiation of...
And by the minister, what does it mean to you?
Well, I don't know. You know, Nigerians were tired of getting speeches. Usually policies and everything, you see them, they come and they will just pass and nothing happen. Even this minimum wage that was promised, as I speak, even now, it has been passed into law, but I will tell you that many people have not implemented it. It's not all about speech that was presented, but are you sure that those things will come to pass?
Thank you very much. Now, back to you, Prof. You earlier mentioned the theme of the day, which is reclaiming the civic space in the midst of economic hardship. How much of the civic space would you say the Nigerian workers have lost?
Well, let's even start with the issue of the minimum wage we are talking about. There was a negotiation. The president is talking about social dialogue. And after the negotiation, hope. There was no more hope. In fact, we became more hopeless. Now, like I said, what we are celebrating today is the fact that we are alive. Because a lot of people are dying, I can tell you. Like I said, I'm the Secretary General of Academic Staff Union. I have lost members due to this hardship. And we are talking about elite class of Nigerians. You know, researchers are in the elite class. People who have masters and PhD, who are supposed to be walking around the clock in laboratories to develop Nigeria. And then, so how do you now, talk about the civic space? Even now, do you? So that means in 2027, the way it's going down, 10% go, we might register above 100 Nigerians and only 17% will vote. Now, if you see there's voter apathy. Why is there voter apathy? People have lost confidence in governance. And so, because, and you see even the politicians behaving as if they don't care. They are jumping, defecting, instead of concentrating on.
So talking about the civic space now, how do we reclaim the civic space?
I think what we need to do is to educate Nigerians and appeal to the people in government, and ask them to take a critical look at what is going on in this country. The trend, if they don't really engineer what the whole system, because like the man was talking in China, he said about China, he said that you can't borrow things, a method of and impose it on the country. You develop your own homegrown solution to the problem. If the ruling class can, just like the president said, that we should have a social dialogue. A lot of decisions that are being taken, they're not even carrying the organized labor along. The president of
to you, Jama, talk to us about some of the challenges that workers today are facing, especially as it concerns your members.
Thank you very much. Actually, we have a lot of challenges that nurses in Nigeria are facing all over. One of the major challenges that nurses are facing in Nigeria is gross shortage of manpower in our workplaces. The WHO standard of ratio of nurse per patient is 1 nurse per 4 patients. But actually, I will tell you, all over Nigeria today, we are working a nurse per 30 to 35 patients. Particularly, let me say it here in Abuja, because sometimes they will tell you that it's because many nurses have left the shore of this recruit nurses. And if I can tell you, most of this government, like in the primary healthcare center, since 2008, they have not recruited nurses. Like in FCDA, since El Rufai sacked over 2,000 health workers, nurses, they have not been. They were just replacing, not even replacing well. So government should recruit more nurses to take care of these people. And another thing is insecurity. Let me tell you, most of these nurses that are leaving this country, they are not leaving because they want to leave, but because there is insecurity, more especially those working in the community areas. So another thing is bad policies and failure to implement some of those policies that government will come up with policies and they will not implement.
Thank you very much, Jama. We'll have to take a short break now and, get the views of some workers who were out celebrating May Day today. Don't go away.
Ourselves to be here so that our expectation and hope that at least by the end of the day, as a Workers' Day, that's our benefit that have been awaiting, that we have been patient for long, will be put a smile in our faces as soon as it is.
the labor and the government to focus on health and safety of all workers in Nigeria. The world is facing new risks every day, and new hazards are emerging every day, just like we're having emerging technologies. So the same way, we are asking that the health and safety of workers should be more prioritized.
Welcome back. This is still Nigeria Today. We are looking at the 2025 Workers' Day celebration. Of course, I have here in the studio with me two gentlemen. Now, Prof, of course, you heard what some of our workers are saying there. So, what areas, having said, what they said about health and safety and all of that, what areas would you love to see improvement?
Well, like I said, in the first place, I think there should be improvement in dialogue, social dialogue, just like the president has promised. We're going to hold him to his word, because we should be allowed to make inputs. We should be allowed to make suggestions. We are the workers. We know where the shoe is pinching, And then the issue of, look at the issue of FAC. There has been an increase of and so the staff now we shut down the institution, and the DG is being blamed for no water and no light. And then people are not understanding. Even the staff they can't understand. You mean that government is not giving us money for light? You can even see. So what is happening? What is really happening? You have increased all sorts of tariffs.
So
more money is coming.
How do we make it better?
I think it's just for government to really sit down and listen to us. Because if they listen, nobody is has the monopoly of wisdom. The president doesn't know everything. But if he opens his ears and watches his ministers, and then listens, like the press, and the press, they are doing very well, I must say, bringing up these things, putting them on the front burner and all these discussions. The government should be able to monitor. It's not a question of, what we are seeing is that when somebody criticizes government, he comes under attack. Instead of them to listen, even call the person and say, oh, this information you have, let's investigate. Let it be
constructive.
Constructive, yes.
Criticism. Yes.
Now, the truth about it is that organized labor will never be, criticized. Well, our intention is not to bring down the government. We are working, we are partners in the progress or in the process of development. So what they should do is to listen to us. We have the complaints. When we say somebody is saying, oh, they've not paid allowances. Now, find out. There must be a response system whereby when people complain, somebody's looked into. We have this, paraphernalia of security agencies, monitoring systems. We have policies. But we are not, it seems as if somebody is not listening. Government is not listening. And when we now start talking, sometimes they start hounding us. You see situations where they are treating organized labor as if they are common enemies.